souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to another week of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jessie, Elly. Hey! Guys, it is lit in the studio today. We have an amazing female here, an entrepreneur, a model, a photographer, and the CEO and founder of Francois Studios in Lynn. Welcome to the show, Dani Francois.
Hey.
What's poppin', girl?
Not much. I'm so excited to be here.
This is great.
Oh
I feel like we've been talking about this for so long. It's like finally come to fruition.
I'm so excited.
Here, let me pass you this. You can fill your cup a
honey.
little. Thank you. And you know, everyone tuning in today, like I said, I'm super excited. What we love on the show is entrepreneurs, people trying to do more than a 9-to-5, do something different with their life. And that's exactly what Dani has done for probably the past decade.
Yeah.
Do you want to let people know kind of like who you are and where you come from?
So where I come from the whole North Shore, I guess. So I grew up in Chelsea, Revere, and now I'm living in Lynn.
Okay, cool.
That's where our studio is.
Hey, shout out Lynn.
Yes. Who I co-found with my husband Ferns, which we all know Ferns.
Shout out Ferns Francois. And if you guys don't know, he was on episode 42 of Old Soul Young World when we first started here in Straight Vision Studios. You know, our interview was amazing. So if you want to learn more about the duplex of the team, the two sides that make up Francois Studios, make sure you check out episode 42.
Hell yeah. So things have been really good. Like, you know, he's the rock. But we started Francois Studios from travel.
Wow.
So it was about 6 years ago. I wasn't really doing any kind of photography. Ferns has. Ferns started off with something called Modern Advocates, which was his first baby.
Okay.
But I didn't start until we started traveling. So we traveled to Thailand and we were just kind of posting, you know, on social media to our Snapchat, our Instagram. People were loving it. Hey. And this was like our first international trip ever. And they loved it so much. We came back and we're like, we need to start a YouTube channel.
Yes.
So that was Travel Bugs. You know, then we started buying all of our camera equipment and really getting into it and sharing.
Yep.
So then the pandemic happened. And unfortunately, you know, travel was not so great.
Yeah.
So Francois Studios was born.
Hey, they had their first baby. They don't have a baby, but they do have a baby.
We have 3 babies. We have our dog babies.
Right. They got the dog babies, the business babies.
We got all the babies.
All the babies. But when you guys so you and Ferns have met a long time ago. So I think you said it was almost like when you guys were kids, like 10 years ago.
Straight out of high school from work. We both ended up working at the same location and hit it off, and we're seeing each other for many years, and we kind of just like grew up together for the most part. Like our whole 20s was together, and I feel like that was like such a big time too for us.
Yeah.
You know, because like that's crucial, you know, like the 20s, like it's the partying
That's
stage.
where you
still
find
figuring
yourself,
it out.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we pretty much grew up together. But yeah, and then here we are, almost 11, 12 years later.
Crazy. Shout out to you guys. And that's the most beautiful part too about your story, that it's during the 20s, people are usually like alone, they're confused, they find themselves. It's very rare and it's very special when you find a partner that young who has the same dreams, goals, motivation. Yes. And ever since I met Dani, and it's actually funny because I met Ferns first. So since I met Ferns, I was like, wow, he's an amazing person. Then he's telling me about Dani and all the things they do together. And I'm like, no way, this can't be real. I've never heard of a couple this cool. Then I meet Dani and she's just as cool as Ferns. I'm like, yo, we got the power couple of the fucking year. I'm bringing them both on Old Soul Young World. It's just really motivational to me as like a young woman to see love still alive.
Right.
And that, you know, love can also play into what you want your dreams to become.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And through traveling, it's cool that you guys had that like in common. But how did you decide to actually like start traveling, planning trips and doing all of that?
So I don't even really know exactly how. I think Ferns was talking to a friend about credit cards, and they were talking about Chase. And Chase has like this crazy like travel program.
Oh yeah, like
and we weren't really
points and
like
stuff.
That. Yeah. So he was talking to a friend about it, and then he was like, "Oh, let's go on a trip," because we applied for the credit cards. We started getting the points and all this other stuff through his friend's system, and then we're like, "Let's do it." So we booked our first trip all on just credit card points, which cost us like nothing. We went to, this was our first
That's smart
international
travel.
trip together. We went to Thailand. From Thailand, we went to Singapore. And then from Singapore, we went to Bali.
Oh my.
And it was like a 3-week trip, and it was just all on points. You know, we obviously paid for our food, but living over there as like king and queens, like you're paying like nothing. So that just like kicked it off. Like
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And like when you're planning that, I mean, I don't know the timeline of what was going on in your life, but I'm sure you guys had to make some sacrifices to be like, you know what, even though we have other things going on, like this is the vision, this is what we want to do together, this is, you know, whatever. And when you were doing that, did you already have planned before you left, like we're going to document this? Or was that kind of...
No. So the travel wasn't always a dream or a plan. Everyone loves to travel. Everyone wants to travel. And I think everything just kind of fell in line. And then at that time, we kind of knew what we wanted, but we kind of didn't. Like, we were kind of like in that like weird phase where just like anything's an option. But right now it's chill.
Figuring things out. Yeah.
So we went on the trip because stars aligned, and that's when it really became our baby. Like, it opened up our eyes to like just a whole different world, and like that's kind of like what's really like been pushing us is like our main goal, because you know, we're busy, we're a couple, we own our own business, we have our other things going on the side. Things get busy,
and then life, you know, regular life on top of it,
so it gets hard, you know what I mean? Time gets restricted, but like we always keep in mind is like our main goal is to travel together. Like, we connected so hard when it comes to travel, and we just keep pushing so that someday like we can just freelance. And that's what Francois Studios is. It's an opportunity to give us a chance to travel all over the world and work at the same time.
That's
amazing. Do what we love. Yeah. So
so fire. And again, like, shout out to you guys for even taking that step, because a lot of people, like, we get stuck in our routines, in our cycles, and like you guys both grew up in the same type of area, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's easy to get caught up in that and just not venture outside of yourselves.
Absolutely.
And it's like, once you do though, I mean, at least speaking for myself, and you can kind of give your perspective, but I feel like it opens your eyes to so much culture and so much inward like motivation. Like, wow, there's so much outside myself that I have not even thought about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It puts you totally outside your comfort zone. And like, I tell everyone, like, even when I eventually do have kids, or we have kids, I would like them to travel. Like, because there is nothing more mind-opening than traveling. Like, introducing yourself and putting yourself outside of that comfort zone. Because half the time you have to try to find ways to communicate with these people.
Exactly.
And learn their culture, even if it's something that kind of goes against your beliefs. Like, you're fully immersed in it. And then you come back, and it's just like there's a whole world out there. You know what I mean? It opens up all different kinds of opportunities. Right. You know, it's so freeing.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you would relate to this too. Like, when I travel and I come back, and I can't even imagine Thailand, Bali. Like, you'll have to tell me a little bit about your experience there, because I've never actually been like to that region, like Asia at all. But even just traveling, like, if it's a trip to Florida or anywhere, like I've gone to New Orleans, I've gone to Colorado, but when I come back, I'm hungry. Like, I want to travel again. Like, I got so much, my soul felt so filled from going and meeting new people and having experiences, random strangers, having conversations with you and telling them about your life, and it opens your mind, like, wow, they live like that. Absolutely. I can live a different way. I can do this different. Right. And that's the inspiration and motivation where it's like, okay, we need that. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. As artists.
Absolutely. It opens the creative mind. That's why I called it the travel bugs. That's why the travel bugs is a travel bugs. You get the travel bugs. I was going to ask you that. Because like once we had, in a 2-year span, we were literally in a different country almost every other month for a very long time, because we had the bug. We went on that trip, and it was over. My mom, and we had the 3 dogs. My poor mom. I'm like, Mom, because she used house sits when we're away. Someone needs to watch the dogs, and we can't. You know, at the time we didn't have the money to board them. Yeah. And you know, they're crazy. Yeah. You know them.
And we're talking about 3 fluffy ass white Pomeranian dogs who just bark and jump up on you, and they're so sweet and cute, but they're a lot. They're a handful.
They're a handful. Yeah. So whenever we went away, my mom, I was like, Ma, I'm going away. Do you mind house sitting? She's like, sure. She was like such a saint until the end. Like, we were gone for like 3 weeks. She's like, you know, I really don't mind. You know, I'll do anything for you. But 3 weeks is like a little bit of a long time. I'm like, okay.
Like 3 weeks, 3 dogs.
Yeah. She killed it.
That's real love, though.
She rocked it. Yeah. I was like, you're amazing.
But on your travels, like, in, you know, those were only a few of the places that you guys have gone.
Absolutely.
What do you feel like was your favorite place that you went, or the place that you got most experience out of, or that when you came back, you're like, wow, like that stuck with me?
I would have to say, definitely Italy. So I have two faves that are up there. Yeah.
My homeland. I want to go to Italy so bad.
Italy,
it's like dream of mine.
It's like me. I think it was me too.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm actually Russian German, grew up as an Italian because my dad was adopted by a Sicilian.
Wow.
Very old school Italian. All he talked about was Sicily and like all these things. And like when I was growing up, I was like, oh yeah, someday I'll make it to Italy. Never thought I would.
Yeah.
But I did. So like that anticipation, and then just being there, it's just like, it's so magical. Like it's just absolutely magical. Friends and I fell in love all over again in Venice. Like that was actually a thing. I was like, oh, how cliche is this?
Yeah, literally like a romantic movie.
But man, like someone recommended to us to stay overnight in Venice because what happens is during the day, everyone takes day trips there, and it's just like, it's swamped. Like you walk down these like little canals and you're squeezing. So like you can't really enjoy it. But at night, everyone leaves. So like you have like the whole thing pretty much to yourself. So we ended up going out one night with no real plan. And we picked up pizza for takeout and a bottle of wine, and he got some whiskey. And we're like, okay, now where do we go? We'll just go sit by the canal somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we saw these guys walking through an alley, so we're like, oh, let's go check out what's going on in there. And it was a little shady at the time.
Following a couple guys in an alley, no big deal, Danny.
Not gonna lie, I was like, no. With me. We're all
But that's
good.
what real travelers do. You gotta adventure. If you're gonna live that life, live it. Like,
just use your best judgment. You know, I didn't think it was shady enough where I was like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
So we get there. It's like this little plaza, and it looked like it was all locals. It was like a boat dock, so the locals were pulling up with their boats to like come. They were all just sitting there, chilling, drinking, eating, having a good time. We sat there too, and they just like one of them.
They embraced you guys. They're like, come.
We had the best time. I was like, oh my God. So I think that's why Italy. And then Florence, we love Florence. Like we kind of just like backpacked around, and it's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just tough because like sometimes I want to say Thailand. Yeah. Because Thailand's like that tropical getaway. It's like a different kind of getaway, and the culture is just so thick. You know what I mean? It's just like, they call it the land of smiles because everyone's just like so friendly. So
welcoming. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a dream, you know?
That's amazing. You know, and shout out to you guys again because even being so young and going to all of these places, like that gives you like knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Young knowledge. Old soul in the young world type knowledge. You feel me?
Absolutely.
And I feel like that like is what actually pushed you guys to start, like you said, Francois Studios. And behind Francois Studios, like when you guys started, were you like, oh, we're gonna, you know, use this interim of the travel bugs because of COVID, and then it turned into a business? Or was it like a set idea when you guys opened it?
So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a set idea. So we knew we wanted to do something in production because the long-term goal is to create films. Yeah. We didn't know what our roles were in that. We just knew we had the Travel Bugs YouTube, which was very successful. Like we had, you know, tons of support with that from our community, from other people. Like it was a hit. So in the interim, it was just kind of like, okay, like we kept, we're like, oh, we're going to film an episode. But like, you know, we're just kind of like talking about our experiences, which is great. But like creativity wise, like it just wasn't what we were into, I guess. Right. So we're just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll film. And then eventually we're just like, you know what, like we got to like venture out and like kind of branch this out into something else like, that's more sustainable when we can't travel. Exactly. You know what I mean? Which then became Francois Studios. Yep. So then we started, you know, doing more photography work, more videography work. So we could do commercial work. We're doing the reels. We're doing... we have studio space for rent. Yes. We also have equipment for rent, just in case, I don't know, people want to start to like dabble into photography. Like we had a client come in and rent the space, and she's not a photographer. She just wanted to get some shots of her sister on her birthday. Instead of hiring a full-on photographer or videographer,
or
she's
a whole
like,
studio to rent out.
Studio.
Like,
so she
way
rented
more
the
expensive.
studio. Like, she's like, well, what do I need to make the photos awesome? We're like, well, we have a camera we can rent and give you like a quick tutorial on how to use it. So she came. She loved it. She came back again. She was like taking photos. I was like, yeah, see, this is like, we just want to create a space for creators. You know what I mean?
So you guys are open to the idea of welcoming in, I don't want to say amateurs, but people who are not yet at the professional status. Oh, absolutely. And letting them, you know, use the space, use the equipment,
and
everything
see
like
where
that.
It flows, because that's where it starts. You just gotta put your camera in the hands before you know. Like if you have any interest in taking photos, like you never know. Like hit your hands and that's it. Like my friend Yvette, Like
shout out Yvette.
Yeah.
Shout out Yvette.
We all know Yvette.
Yes.
I'm teaching her. Well, we're teaching her a little bit because we're in the process of onboarding her into like Francois Studios type deal. So like, she has that camera in hand. She's so willing to learn.
Yeah.
Like, she's so ready. And like to see that, it's just like, it's so inspiring. You know what I mean? To do it is cool, right? Because you're into it.
Yeah.
But to see it, like to put that camera in someone's hand and they're just so passionate about it, probably passionate about it more than they even knew.
Yep.
It's magical.
And it's crazy because like you're a teacher in that way as well, because like you've mastered the skill enough to be able to pass that knowledge down to someone else.
Absolutely.
Depending on if they want to learn or not,
Absolutely.
And that's super dope as well. Like Ferns was a photographer first, and then you kind of picked up the camera. So did you learn like from
Ferns is still
mentorship?
My teacher. Ferns is 100%.
She's like, Ferns is my teacher.
Francois Studios. So right now I am working full time. So Francois Studios, unfortunately, is like my part time, even though it's just another full time, pretty much. I mean,
we're trying to get out of our 9 to 5s. That's why we're here, girl.
Yes,
we're trying.
So. But his full time is Francois Studios. He's always worked on Francois Studios. Without him, I don't want to say it wouldn't be impossible because anything is possible. Yeah. But it'd be very hard without him.
It definitely takes a team effort for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he does most of the research, and like we try to have Francois Studios staff meetings where he's like teaching me new things, and we have our real nights.
Yes.
Where like I kind of get to play also with like the camera and things like that. So he's still teaching me. There's still so much to learn.
Right.
Just like he does. He has so much to learn too. We all have so much to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's still my teacher. Yeah. And I'm not ashamed of that. I enjoy
student
it.
forever and a teacher forever. That's what we are.
Learning, right? Always learning. And for me, the whole camera in the hands wasn't as instantaneous. Like I didn't fall in love immediately. With it. With me, it was just like I wanted to share the content. That's what it was for me until I really started getting into it. But now I absolutely love it. When you get a photo, I was telling some friends yesterday, I was like, when you get a photo as good as you want it's a piece of art. It is just art. Like everything has a purpose, everything has a feeling and emotion to it. Yeah. And it's just simply art. I was like, this is like that's what I fell in love with. When I felt that for the first time, I was like, this is it.
It's like the final product of like anything. I feel like if you're a painter and it's like you work on it, and then you see the finished result and you're like, that's how I pictured it in my mind. Yes. It's like translating an idea that you have into a visual. Yes. There's nothing like that.
There's nothing like that. Pure magic. And I'm just like, this is like the best feeling ever. So that's when I kind of fell in love with it. And now here we are.
Here we are. And it's, and I keep having to shout you guys out, but it's dope, like being in a partnership where you guys both share the same passions. Yeah. Do you feel like that has, progressed you maybe more than somebody who was trying to learn by themselves, that you guys can like critique each other openly and be like honest because you're in a relationship? Absolutely. So it's like
100%. Yeah. For me, I do believe there's certain personalities that do have the determination and the motivation to go out and do what they need to do.
Facts.
But, that's a small group. Yeah. Like the rest of us are like, oh yeah, we enjoy it. But And some people, like your friends might be a little biased where they're not giving you the critique that you actually need.
Right? I need that tough love. Yes. Like tell me my shit sucks.
Yes.
Like
and Ferns from day one, because, I'm Ferns' first model. Like, whenever Ferns needs me to
I love
step in, because, he needs practice too. And he needs someone to practice on. He's like, babe, can you come over here and blah, blah, blah. Even modeling. He's like, babe, suck it in. You gotta suck it in. Very nice. He's not trying to be mean.
Right.
And like, obviously in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, you're such a jerk. You know what I mean?
If you saw the picture before and then after, you'd be like, oh yeah, you're right.
Oh my
you're
God.
right. You got that.
Huge difference. Like, it's crazy. Like he'll even sometimes he'll get frustrated with me because I'll throw my little attitude. I'm like, fine, because he'll even be like, fix your face. Like I'm like, I'll give him a little attitude. So he'll take photos, let me do my thing, and then he'll tell me, he's like, I just want to show you. I'm like, okay,
constructive criticism.
Yes, he's not doing it to be mean, but like without him, the art that we create wouldn't be the art that it is. You know what I mean?
Vice versa, because I'm sure like him practicing, learning how to use the camera himself, and having you as a model, like using you as different angles, different shots, seeing what works with you teaches him how to shoot with other people too, and vice versa.
Absolutely. So. And it's like it's having a model on demand.
Exactly.
That's what it is. You know what I mean? Like for a photographer, like including myself, to have someone on demand to practice when you want to practice is so key. Like so key. Because can you imagine? You're like, I really need to practice this technique that I just learned.
Right.
But like, who am I going to ask? Because like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to take photos, or they want to get dressed up to take the photos. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you just need a person just to be there.
Just to be there, to see the angle, the lighting, like you're just testing just being there. Background stuff. Yeah.
Very boring stuff. Like you're just standing there.
Exactly. But and you know, you did mention it when we were talking about Francois Studios, but we have recently, and I want to shout out everyone involved in our real, I don't even, what do we even call it? Real shit show?
It's actually called the Real Shit Show. Yeah. Which was awesome. Yeah. Because, you know, that was something we did not expect.
No. Very recent.
Yeah. That was, we had meet. Oh, it was actually, who was it? Yvette called us up because Instagram's doing this thing where they're paying people for real views.
Yep.
You know, she's a
if you don't know now, you know. So they're paying people for real views on IG.
They're rolling it out.
Check it out.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So, like we were talking about reels or whatever, and then we got together one night just to brainstorm, and we came up with our first reel, which was on the Twindle Swindler.
Yeah, the Twindle Swindler. That was mad funny.
It was hilarious, and it kind of blew up a little bit. And we're like, damn, this is like a thing. And then we're like, we need to get like a lot of our friends, including you, Jessie. Jesse's a part of that crew.
Make sure y'all check it out. So we post on our IG. So if you check out my IG, Dani will throw in her IGs at the end, so you guys can always add her on there. But we post like bi-weekly to weekly.
Yeah,
pretty much weekly, but like sometimes bi-weekly.
We're trying to get more consistent.
We're getting in our routine. Like this is very new within the last like month and a half.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's so much fun. Like
it's a lot of good things coming. Make sure you guys tune in.
Yes, please.
But it's kind of cool because what we're using like you guys are bringing to the table with Francois Studios is also like acting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we go through scripts, skits. We meet up and do behind the scenes, like just like brainstorming. Absolutely. We have Zoom meetings, like shit that people would never think, like just to make a reel. Like, no, we put like love into our art, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It is so fun. It is.
But yeah.
You just kind of went viral a little too.
Oh yeah. What was it? I think it's at 80K
views
or something like that.
I mean, not that views matter, but sometimes they do.
Fun.
So
when they start going like this, you're just like,
wait, what? Wait, what? That's me.
Yep. So that was cool. So that was the first one. I was like, but that's just a sign. Like that's where we're going, because like we just started out and we're starting to get more consistent and we're getting better. The chemistry between all of us, because now we're all kind of chill.
Yeah, exactly.
There's quite a few of us, and we all have something different to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Like,
we do. We all bring our different like either personality or our look, comedy, our specialties, and like we put them into one. So right now I just want to shout out Dani, I want to shout out Ferns, I want to shout out Yvette, I want to shout out Flex, I want to shout out Trisha. Am I leaving anyone out? Shout out Biz
Baldwin,
because he did come through. Shout out Baldwin. But yeah, we have just been putting together like acting conscious content reels where we're just trying to build content and figure out what works. And it's like these things, in my mind, I never even thought about coming together with a group to make content. And I think that's fire. And that's what Francois Studio represents is creatives coming together of all different niches or whatever your talents are.
And just creating.
And creating. It doesn't matter if we get 5 views or 80K views. It's just about us making content, being artists, and staying consistent, because at least for me, like, it keeps me on a schedule. It keeps me responsible. It keeps me held accountable, like, to be doing something creative all the time.
Absolutely. Every week. Thursdays and Mondays.
Right.
You know, we're like, Jessie,
right?
We're stealing you. I know you're busy, girl, but
and you know, like, coming. For yourself, because that's like reels on top of your business, on top of your 9 to 5 or whatever your hours are. How do you find the time being, you know, even just doing like everything. Balancing your family and your friends? Like, how do you find that balance?
I mean, it's hard. It's definitely very hard. I just take it day by day, to be honest.
Oh,
you know, you have to. Like, something like this with so much is like, I feel like if you're overthinking it or you're thinking like, oh, how am I going to do this? It's just, you're going to get overwhelmed and probably procrastinate and not get done what you need to get done. Exactly. So like, I just try my best to multitask as much as I can. So like, shouldn't be, but on my 9 to 5 is like, I work from home. So like, I'll be cleaning up the place because like, you know, we have things to do in-house, which is our studio space too. So I try to keep it really clean for our clients. So I'll clean while I work between things, and same thing with get ready for real night, because real night is like right after I log off.
Exactly.
So like I'll be like, you know, typing and doing my hair, do anything I can do to multitask, I'm doing. So like I just find the time.
Right.
I just find the time wherever I can. You know what I mean?
Yes. And shout out to you. And like, I just want to highlight that anyone listening in who is starting a business, who is doing something more than a 9 to 5, if you're working your 9 to 5 and you get out and like Dani, you're going and doing like your other job right away or working on your business, remember, it is about steps, and it's about, you know, you don't always have the time. You make the time, you prioritize. Absolutely. You know, and shout out my team and the people who push me, because they tell me that as well. Like, you have to make time for the things that you love, and sometimes you have to sacrifice time for other things, which I am still learning. Shout out Slam, because he tries to give me this advice all the time. But we really do have to be conscious about our energy and what we're giving and what we're putting towards what. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, okay, I need to put this time towards the business this day. Okay, now it's time to turn that off and put it towards, you know, making reels on IG or
which
doing my modeling.
Which isn't always clear either, you know, especially at first.
Thanks for saying
it's hard. You know, the first year of this is like, I did put my friends, my family kind of like, you know, to the side, because I knew I had to hustle, and it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you know, this is my dream. So like,
did you have to say no to things?
Absolutely. I still say no to things. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a constant struggle to find that balance. You need to find that balance. You can't always put people off. And that's like, in January, I said, it's one of my main goals. And I don't usually do like New Year's resolutions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This year, I was like, I need to make time. Because I make time for other things. We always make time for things.
Right.
Need to make time for friends and family, people who I love, even though it's not, you know, beneficial to the business or to my dreams or whatever. Well, I mean, it is beneficial to my dreams, but you need to make that time for them, those people, you know what I mean? Because they are huge support systems. And sometimes it's a little bit of a refresher. Like, I go to my mom's, this is an example of making time for things. I work from home at my mom's every Thursday. So this way I'm working, she's working too. But I'm still spending time with her. Like, we have our lunch together, we go for walks after work and things like that. You need to make that time. And it's a little bit of a refresher to step away from what you're doing.
A mental break.
Because you need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You absolutely need it. And you'd be surprised when you come back, like, how productive you actually are.
Exactly.
And how, like, ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So always make that time.
And that's what I was going to say too. Like, besides like making time for family and friends, like the mental break for yourself. Like, how do you make time for you? How do you make time for Dani and your mental health? You know what I'm saying? Because like mental health and physical health also play into how you conduct your business and how you're feeling internally.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, like, you know, like I said, we know each other, but we're also recent friends. So I don't know every detail of your life. But do you feel like you've ever like struggled with like self-doubt or any of the like, you know, downs to come to these ups, or to get to the point where you're like, okay, I can find that balance now because I couldn't find it before?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's times where I'm just like, I can't even do this anymore. I'm so like burnt out, like I don't even want to talk to anybody. Like, of course, like I think we all
socially
go through that,
drained.
But I do, like, I push myself. I should be able to find some time to like be like, okay, Danielle, you should be able to lay on that couch and not stress about the million things that you're not doing because you're laying on that couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm still working on that. Yeah. I'm not very good at it. I just recently, like, you know, because we'll go every day. Just recently, like, told Ferns, like, we had plans. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I need the night off. Like,
and that's real. And like, thank you for saying that, because I just want people to know who are listening in. It happens. Sometimes we do burn the candle at both ends. We do get worn out. We do get drained. And you do have to like try to reset and, like we're saying, sacrifice and be like, okay, I need a me day today.
Right. Be selfish. It's okay to be selfish, you know.
So you can keep building, you know, because you're doing it for a positive.
Right. So, you need it. Yeah. Absolutely need it. So it felt good, even though I did sit on the couch and I was like, there's so many things I could be doing right now. You know what I mean? I was like, just watch TV. Yeah. Just be mindless.
Exactly.
For like just a little while, even if it's just a couple hours.
Exactly.
I do try to work out more, like, because I do enjoy working out. Mentally, like, you know, obviously we all do it to be fit. Yeah. But health-wise and mentally, like, I need it. So I do try to do that more. So, like, I take an hour every day, do my thing, go in the other room, just do my thing, you know? So.
And even just an hour a day. Like, one of my friends said to me the other day, 4 minutes a day. If you take 4 minutes and you just put them aside and you do, let's say 20 push-ups, a couple crunches, and you just run in place for a few. You will feel 10 times better than if you didn't do those 4 minutes. So it could only take a couple minutes a day, guys. If you're listening, if you're watching it, take a few minutes today. Just do something for you for a few minutes and see how you feel about it. That's all. Dani, like I said, you are multi-talented, multitasking, female entrepreneur, many businesses, many things under your belt, many hats that you wear. And one of those hats is modeling. So aside from you being behind the lens and behind the scenes and everything that you do, you also are in front.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time. And it's funny because I just recently came to the conclusion, I am a model. Because it took me a while to get there. Because, that's fine. The modeling thing kind of just, happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't, an intention. And, to this day, I'm, don't like getting in front of the camera. So it's just, it happened. But just recently, I started thinking, when everyone's like, oh, are you a model? I'm like, oh, no. And then I was it kind of dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. I have a whole portfolio, even if it's just ferns. I have shot with other people, but, most of my photos are by ferns.
Yeah.
I have a whole portfolio. I have images after images. I am. It came down, which is so weird for me to hear because I'm just I've spent so much time being oh, no, I'm not a model. I just stand in from time to time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now it's I am. I put in that work because, some of those photo shoots aren't just me just, standing there. We've done tons of actual boudoir shoots. We've done stuff outside cosplay, so that elf one. Things like that. We've done Pikachu. We've done Catwoman in the city. So I was I think it's safe to say I'm a model.
You've done themes, pre-preparation. You plan the outfits. Oh my God, yes. You plan the shoots.
Yes.
It's
and
a model.
We actually, next weekend, we have our first, I guess,
it's probably going to be after this comes out, so the shoot might be out by the time this episode drops.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to say we have a shoot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have a shoot. Yes. Actually, you're right. I'm so close. Everything happens so fast.
I know.
I'm
it's crazy.
Took me a minute. But we're there now. So we have this big swimsuit shoot that is happening. And I'm so pumped. So that first one, so the designer had, first I had a Barbie shoot, which was also a big shoot.
Like a Barbie doll?
Barbie, So me and my friend Kathy.
About? Okay.
So she's I want to shoot with you. She's a model, but she does commercial work too. So she's an actual agency signed, I think, model. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. Yeah. But yes. So she does modeling as income. So she had come with a swimsuit to match one of my outfits.
Yeah.
And it was dope. It was so dope. I think Megan Stallion modeled in it and stuff and things like that. Yeah. So she shot in that. And the designer saw the photos, obviously, because we tagged her in it.
Yeah.
Loved it. She sent us almost her whole inventory. She's you guys shoot this. And yes, Infinity Swim, their swimwear is
You said Infinity Swim? Okay.
Yes, their swimwear is so fire. So fire. So they sent us all that. So it's me, Kathy, and another friend. And we're going to be shooting it on the beach, even though it's April.
Exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so stay tuned because those are going to be fire.
Dude, congrats to you. And see, that's huge. It's like you said, I'm not a model. But all the not modeling shoots you had build up to an opportunity where you're actually getting paid merchandise to be modeling in, which is a huge ups to you, Dani.
Yeah, thank
Shout
you.
out to you. That's a major accomplishment right there. Yeah. Not many people can say that.
Even for Francois Studios, because Franz is shooting it, which, he's been on it. He's been game planning. We did a whole fitting. Yeah. That was a whole thing for me. He did a whole fitting with us to get an idea of what we're doing. Facts. And, he's been in contact with the designer. The designer might come out and kind of set us up and stuff like that. So it's big for Francois Studios because it also shows production. Right. But at the same time, it's just this is why we're looking for people who want to be creatives because we need help, right? Because I can't be a model and assist Ferns. You know what I mean? Ferns needs an assistant. It's just oh, yeah.
How far can you stretch your arms? You know what I mean? You're going to break.
I look great. So, it's a whole opportunity just for everything. You know what I mean? I'll happily, shoot in other things that people want to, pay us for. Right, and, things like that. Happily. And because our company the opportunity to exercise what we do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the opportunity to merge those skills, to merge the modeling, the production, the photography, the editing,
so
and literally wrap it into one ball with tie a bow on it. Like, you guys got this. So congratulations to Francois Studios. That's huge.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
Yes.
And on top of like your modeling that you do with Francois Studios, you also help other women gain that confidence for their own modeling.
I do try. I definitely try because I hear a lot. It's just like, oh, I'm not a model. And
that's
I'm just
how
like,
I feel because I've done so many shoots with my
she
friends.
kills it every time.
It's
Don't even listen to her.
what's the word I'm looking? I just said entrepreneur. That's not what I was looking for. Amateur. Like I feel like an amateur. Like I just shoot because I want content. Like you said, like I want people to see my face. I want them to know the podcast, but see who's behind it.
Right.
And then the more I did, I was like, wow.
You don't have to be a model.
Yeah, it doesn't have like that doesn't have to scare you either. Anyone listening, like a model, it just means you enjoy getting your pictures taken, and getting prepared for it. Like,
I think it's like people look at it in a very negative light, including myself. Like, include me. Like, I thought I had to be like this like supermodel to model. And it's just like no, like not even close.
Right.
And it shouldn't be a negative thing. It's just like you should feel comfortable in your own skin. Like you should feel confident enough to be like, yeah, this is what I look like. And I'm going to take photos of what I look like. I don't have to look like, I don't know, some supermodel.
Right.
I don't know.
And I don't know if you feel this way, but like, so shout out, Shot for Shot, shout out Richie, shout out Marlon, my two first photographers that I ever worked with. So just like with Ferns and you, I felt like Shot for Shot, like we were learning together. Yeah. He was learning his photography. I was learning how to model. So we were supporting each other in that process. And throughout that process, the more I started seeing, I'm very self-conscious. I have always struggled with self-doubt, just being self-conscious externally. And a lot of it has to do with the society and the social media and what it puts in place for females, the expectations of how we're supposed to look, the expectation that every female is supposed to have a BBL and double D boobs and the smallest waist and no fat on them. Like, we're over it. You feel me? We're over it. Yeah. But for a long time growing up, it was stuck in my mind that I felt like I did not look like those.
Like, right.
Yeah.
And you scroll down your timeline, that's what you see.
That's
and it's
what
just
you
like,
see.
it puts you down a little bit. You're just like, damn. Like,
you get confused about like, am I good enough? Right. Am I okay? Like, that's where I gotta cut that and be like, I'm good. But shooting with Richie and learning with Richie, and I don't know if you felt like this when you started shooting with friends, but like I would see the images and I'm like, yo, yes, like this is what I look like. This is who I am, and I have to accept it.
Absolutely.
I'm never gonna be different. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless I want to go get plastic surgery or something. This is who I am. Yeah. This is how I was born.
All
this
you can
is
do
my
is
skin.
rock it. Just rock it.
Right. And doing those shoots sometimes, it lets you see yourself in a different light, where then you can accept the faults. You can accept the things that people say are, I guess, like insecurities or bad or whatever. Yeah. They aren't. They're actually beauties. The things that make you beautiful.
Like, you notice that. Like, you look at an image and you're like, that's actually very beautiful.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no cut edge. Like, like, I love images of heavyset women.
Yeah.
Because it is, honestly, to me, it is absolutely beautiful. Like, the curves and stuff, like, I know it's different. I know it takes a lot for them to get in front of the camera. Yeah. But those images are the most beautiful images, like, I usually come across. You know what I mean? Yeah. To get them to open up, and, like, you can usually see the emotion, because, like, especially insecure women, like, getting them in front of the camera, it takes a little while to get them to warm up. They're gonna be uncomfortable, like, but once they start to blossom, you're pretty much seeing it like real time, and you're capturing it on that camera.
It's gorgeous.
And it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, oh my God, I can't. Like, it's a boudoir. Like, for women, like, I know being like half naked, but like, I know people think boudoir half naked. You don't even have to be half naked. A boudoir is just feeling sexy. You know what I mean? Right. No matter what you're in.
And we talked about that because, and so I don't know if I've actually like officially hired this. Dani is a boudoir photographer. So she does shoot women, like she said, they can be partially covered. They can be, fully nude, covered. You can be nude, anywhere in between. Yeah. And we said that because I'm interested to do one, but I'm also shy. Like, I'm like, I don't want to fully show everything. Do you know what I mean? You're like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so could you kind of explain what boudoir is and like,
to me,
how you use it?
I think everyone's definition for boudoir is a little different. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's so vague. Not everyone does boudoir. They think boudoir, it could be porn to some people. And then for other people, it's just another shoot in like some nice lingerie.
Yeah.
But for boudoir, it's just, for me, it's about feeling good about yourself. No matter what it is. Because, like, you know, just getting in front of that camera and whatever it is, like, obviously it can't be like a portrait shoot, because a portrait shoot is something totally different.
Yeah.
But, you know, something that you're uncomfortable in and you're getting in front of the camera and in front of. It is enlightening to be like, I did that. Or empowering, I should say. Right. It's empowering to be like, I got in front of that camera and I did the damn thing. Right. And I can almost guarantee you the person's going to at least like one of their photos. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, for you, an example, what do you go to the beach in?
Like a two-piece bikini, which is pretty much underwear and a bra, you feel me? Or even if you're wearing a one-piece, it's kind of like lingerie that you wear.
I was like, even if you're uncomfortable going in underwear and a bra, put on one of those cute little bodysuits. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, those things, they're slimming, they almost always do the job.
Good for curvy women also,
absolutely.
I would say.
Yeah. I love myself some bodysuits. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, it's just like, you know, you don't have to be nude. It's something slightly outside of your comfort zone. Yeah. And you go in front of that camera, we do the damn thing, you know, we warm you up. At first, it's going to be a little awkward. Yeah. But then, like, as it flows and you see those images, you're like, damn, like, I'm hot. Like, I'm hot. Like, I'm hot who I am. You know what I mean? Right. And there's, like, a lot of communication. So, like, even if you didn't like any of the photos, and, like, we do sometimes post client photos on, like, our social media to promote it. Yeah. There's always communication. So, like, nothing's going to go up without consent. You know what I mean? So, like, if you don't like any of the photos, which hasn't happened yet, they don't have to go anywhere. Exactly. But you still got in front of that camera. Exactly. You know, you did your thing.
In that, I feel like boudoir relates to body acceptance. Do you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, just being able to face yourself and be like, this is me. Yeah. Whether you're skinny, whether you're thick, whether you're anywhere in between, you can see it visually and be like, this is who I am. Right. You know, and put it out there, and that lets you open up to other people. So, you know, shout out to you for being able to give that to other women, as well as embrace it as a woman yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Because that's something that a lot of us struggle with.
I think we all struggle with it. Like, I still struggle with it. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. Friends are like, oh, you want to do this shoot? Like, the swimsuit shoot. I'm like, I gotta start really working out. We all struggle with it. I still get nervous. It's been how many years since I get in front of the camera, and I still, like, I still get super nervous. I get super insecure. Yeah. Friends still has to tell me, stand up straight, suck in your belly. You know what I mean? Things like that.
And do you feel like it, like, affects you being the photographer and being able to take the pictures of these women and seeing their reactions for the, like, final shots when you send it to them?
I love it. That's like the best part, is because most of these women don't know they have it in them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then they see it, and it's just like, we did that. We did that, baby. We did that. Fact, like, you know what I mean? We did that. So it's very rewarding. The whole thing, being the photographer, both I would say both sides can be very, very rewarding.
Definitely.
You know, whether it's giving someone the light that you have experienced, or seeing the light for yourself. Because being the model, you're seeing the light. You're like, oh, this is like, I'm good being me. Right. Like, you know? Right. And then I'm able to, like, give that to someone else. Exactly. You know what I mean? And there's, like, to me, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
And being on both sides of it, you can relate from the behind the scenes of knowing how it feels to, like, you know, be, you know, shooting and whatever, and then being in front of the camera, knowing, like, the insecurities that can come with it, and it's, like, making them feel comfortable. Absolutely, is huge in photography.
The perspective is huge because, of course, you, like, you know, a lot of women who aren't experienced, like, you got to pose them, right? And you want to pose them in, like, flattering light. And as a woman, I know what some of those main insecurities might be, and usually there's a conversation beforehand, like, okay, so, like, what are your insecurities? Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just so, like, I have a better idea of, like, how to pose you, like, what to kind of, like, finagle so it's
that's, like, our shoot the other night. And, you know, shout out Francois Studios. You can check out the pictures on my Instagram. They're actually not all up yet. I'm be, like, you know, dropping them for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's so many. They were so dope. But, like, we were walking around Boston like that. Like, they were like, so what, you know, what is it? And I'm like, you know, I get a little insecure about my stomach. I'm a little insecure about this, that. Okay, we'll work with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I saw the images, I was like, they worked with it.
That's it.
Like, and that's what it's about, making your client feels comfortable
as possible.
And letting them see them how you see them.
Exactly. Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, you guys are doing some amazing work. Thank you. All creating some dope content together. But for Francois Studios, or for, you know, Dani Francois, or anything that you got going on in your life over, you know, the next year, do you have any plans or anywhere that you guys want to take the studio further, aside from what you're doing, or just yourself in general as an individual?
So I think it's safe to say our main goal is to travel.
Yes.
So we want the studio to expand because one of our big goals is to also create, at the very least, a short film. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that takes time, it takes experience, takes employees and all that. So for the studio, we want it to be, in the long run, self-efficient. Mm-hmm. So we want it to be able to run itself so that we can be anywhere in the world and we have employees, home base, running the studio space. We have photographers, videographers out there dealing with our clients and the whole nine. So we want to be a whole company, a whole organization. This way it gives us the freedom to do our true love, which is travel. I'm sure we'll still do our photography work all around the world, but we'll have the freedom to do that. So that's where we're going. Our main goal is just expand, just keep pushing and pushing. Yeah. Hence why Jessie's here.
Hey! Watch the travel bugs in 10 years. You're going to see where they are. It's going to be on some wild travel the world type shit.
She'll be in Italy with us in no time.
We might have some shoots coming. And Dani, before we log off, I just got one question for you. I asked all my guests this that come on the show. And I feel like, you embody a lot of the characteristics that I feel like I've embodied growing up as a young female entrepreneur. But we both come from different walks of life. Absolutely. And that's the beautiful part of it. Yeah. We can relate on some things and then we can teach each other on other things.
Absolutely.
You yourself as Dani Francois, a photographer, a model, a business owner, and just an amazing, woman in general. How do you feel, or what do you think it means to be an old soul in a young world? It's that question. It's that time.
It's funny you said that was relatable because I also do feel like it's very, very relatable because I see the similarities too. So when I think of like an old soul, and it's kind of hard to like classify yourself as an old soul, like, you know what I mean? But I definitely do think it's in me. Like I see things a little differently. So like whenever I think of old soul in the young world, I think of a person who might be like very different, unique, and more than likely misunderstood by a lot of people around them. So, that's what I think of. But the thing is like, I also think, people in the young world need an old soul to grow, but also needs a young soul to grow, because that's how society, it's like the circle of life, baby. Like, this is what we need to grow. We need each other to grow, because like if we're stuck, you and me, like we have all this wisdom, we're just like bouncing off each other. Like, I'm sure we'll progress. Like, but it's not the same as if we're progressing it to someone like a young soul who has a different perspective and a different view to enhance. Like, can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can. You can absolutely teach an old dog new tricks. That young soul is teaching us how to evolve what we have. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yo, that was such a fire answer. I like appreciate that so much, because that's exactly how I feel. Like we all have to, the old souls, the young souls. That's why I say my intro, guys, old souls, young souls, and all the damn souls in between.
There you go.
Because we're all integrating our knowledge to each other.
Yes.
You can't be stuck in one mindset. If you're stuck in an old school mindset, you'll never learn the new things that can help you evolve. If you're just stuck in a new mindset, new, but you don't want to learn about your history or your culture or anything that brought you to this moment, you cannot evolve. You have to have a balance.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that answer. That was so fire. Wow. And Dani, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to drive out here to, express to the audience what you do, because it's not easy. Being behind the scenes, working a 9 to 5, and it's like people need to see the person who's behind the work, and you put so much time, effort, energy, and hours out of your week into Francois Studios and to building your portfolio as a model and your photography portfolio. Right. It just deserves to be acknowledged.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. No, thank you for having me here. Because honestly, this has been great. It's been so fun.
Hey.
Like, I get to see Jessie again this week, and I'm just super excited.
Like we see each other a couple times a week, but like one more,
I'm very excited. Yes. So thank you. Like I really appreciate it, and like giving me this opportunity to like share, because like I don't get that opportunity a lot, because I am such a behind the scenes type person. So I appreciate it. I really do.
And we appreciate everything you have to say, Dani, because you have so much knowledge to give to many other young female entrepreneurs who are looking to do their thing. And it's like, there's a lot of women who are going to listen to this episode and be like, yo, I've been wanting to model. I've been wanting to be a photographer. I've been wanting to travel, but I've been doubting myself.
Well, girl,
I've been telling myself no. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, old souls, young souls, female, male, anything in between. We all have that within us. It doesn't matter who you are. We can embrace that within ourselves. And if you want to embrace it even more and take some pictures, do some photography, make some reels, you got to hit up Francois Studios. Yeah. Dani, can you tell them where they can hit up Francois Studios?
So you can hit up Francois Studios at Francois Studios Lynn on Instagram.
Yes.
Or you can hit Ferns Francois on Instagram or Dani's Hangout on Instagram. Wherever you want to reach us, you got it.
You got it. And that's Francois right behind Dani, Francois. On Instagram, all social medias. You can also search Travel Bugs on YouTube.
Oh, we're also on Google now, too.
Whoa.
Yes, we are on Google. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Business?
I blew up. Yes, a Google business. Yeah. Oh boy,
that's huge.
So, yes, so we're on Google. So all you're really gonna do is Google Francois Studios Lynn, and our website will come right up.
And if they want to book with you guys, email, phone,
inquiries are right through there. You put your email address in and easy peasy.
Hey, yes. That's awesome. Well, again, Dani, thank you for coming on. It was so great to have you. Everybody who's tuned in, make sure you guys check out Francois Studios, check out Dani's Hangout, check out Ferns Francois on Instagram or all social medias, also Travel Bugs on YouTube. Everything that Dani and Ferns are creating together is building a community and a culture of artists for Lynn, Massachusetts, and for the surrounding North Shore communities, which is what we love. That's how we build Boston, by being examples, by being entrepreneurs, by being people who are young and old at the same time, and giving that knowledge back to people so that they can build their own. So if you're listening in, make sure you and go and build your own this week, that you take the time to take 5 minutes out of your day and do something for yourself. Yeah. And make sure you tune in with me again next week on Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jessie, Elly.
Yay!